Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, coming at you with another Starcraft commentary. We got another bunch of pixels here for you today. A rare pixel dump. We got an HD. We got a replay cast here between Bisu. It's gonna be the purple Protoss. Hiya 1004 hertz is Bisu, and up here at the top right, Carp is going to be the name that Hiya is using. So Hiya versus Bisu, and should be fun. Looks like we had an observer that was well, I don't know what happened with the observer actually. Did they exit the game? Not sure what happened with that, but anyway. Bye Bye is apparently listed on the screen as well. He's got an APM of 7, I guess. It's a pretty high observer APM going on. Anyway, looking forward to this game. Should be a good one. We got Hiya and Bisu. This is from, well, this was another one of the replays that was uploaded to Team Liquid in 2017. So it's kind of an older game. It's probably a pre-remastered game. I'm not exactly sure what the context was. This context of this was. Maybe it was a ladder game. It might have been a practice game. Who knows? But pretty good matchup here. I'm actually curious to see. Now, we don't know actually when this is from either. So this could be from long ago. You know, this could be from 10 years, 15 years ago. This could be a really old game, or this could be something that they played in, 2016, 2017. So we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. Another game that I casted, you guys might have seen, Bisu versus Sulky. Seemed to be very, mid 2010s meta, maybe early 2010s meta. So maybe this is from that time period. Who knows? Anyway, we got Bisu just going ahead and getting the standard build going on here, ladies and gentlemen. A little barracks in the front is nice. It looks like he's thinking about expanding very quickly. I like putting the depot here, so he's got a little, I believe there's a little gap here so you can run Marines between the depot and the command center and basically make an impromptu bunker to fend off any early Zealot pressure. We see them both scouting towards the bottom right. This is going to be an interesting moment here where we're actually going to see Hiya's SCV coming in here. He's going to spot Bisu's probe coming out. He doesn't actually know yet if that's Bisu leaving to scout or Bisu leaving his position that he had scouted. So he can pretty much know now by seeing that probe that Bisu's in the bottom left. I guess there would be some occasions where he would maybe scout the top left next, but in this case, he would probably scout bottom left next anyways. Anyway, they're both going to scout each other right at about the same moment, but Bisu, actually, I wish I'd be able to see if that probe got close enough to see the command center. I'm pretty sure he probably did. That's the main thing that this probe wants to see. So even if it takes some Marine fire, it wants to get close enough to see if there's a building there. And, this barracks is kind of telegraphing that there's going to be a command center here anyways. So, anyway, Hiya does get his SCV in here. He's going to go ahead and get a full-on scout of the main base before exploding. It's kind of interesting that apparently when you take enough damage as an SCV, your little suit, because those are little mech suits, right? Like, these are actually little mech suits that these people are in, that they've got mining tools on the mech suits and stuff like that, right? That's unfortunate that when the mech suit takes enough damage, it actually just explodes. Like, you don't just get disabled and, it's not just wreckage on the field. It explodes into a million pieces. It incinerates and evaporates, and so there's nothing left. See, the SCV died right here, but there's nothing on the ground right there. It's just gone. Just absolutely gone. Any case, Hiya has his expansion up and running. Bisu just now making a Nexus after going for goons with range, basically. And so he's going to be able to put some pressure on Hiya here, but I think Hiya is going to have the advantage. He's got this bunker out in front. This is a nice spot here. It's kind of difficult with this bridge and the other choke over here. Oh, he's going to sneak an SCV up the side. I don't think Bisu saw that. And so an SCV is going to go out for a second scout. He wants to just go see, all right, is Bisu actually making an expansion? This is sneaking out to try and get a second scout in there since his first scout died heroically in the enemy mineral line. But he wants to know, is there an expansion going up here? Now, is Bisu going to try and do anything to stop that scout from happening? Right now, he's just kind of picking away. He has goon range upgraded. What's it called? Singularity charge, I think. And he's going to go ahead and pick away at that bunker. But, this is just the classic classic game. Wait, where did that SCV go? Where did that SCV go? I lost track of it for a minute. It must have died to this Dragoon. Kill 0. I don't know where that SCV went. That's a little weird. SCV disappeared into thin air. Okay, wait. Kills 1. Kills 1. So one of these... Okay, so this Dragoon must have picked off the SCV on the way in or something. I don't know. Anyway, you guys can go back and check the minimap and see what happened with that, I suppose. But, yes, the classic standoff between the goons with range and the bunker. Just kind of chill in there. It has to repair it until the tank gets out, and the tank can outrange the Dragoons. This is a crucial moment, though, because he has to be very careful. With 4 Dragoons, you can 2-shot a tank. If that tank gets out too far, and it looks like he's going to wait for siege mode. Yeah, that's pretty smart. He's going to wait for siege mode. Sometimes people will go out and they'll put their tank up close to try and pick, you know, do some pick damage on the goons, force them back away from the bunker. In this case, though, he's chosen to wait for siege mode with just the 1 tank, and not really the, you know, the best wall, not really the best defensive position there. It's a smart play. It's a smart play indeed, because then if he puts out the tank a little bit too close, the Dragoons can take it out, and then he's really screwed. Then he's stuck in his base for a little bit longer, and Bisu gets away with taking a 3rd base very easily. It looks like he's taking it anyways, but it would be easier to hold it. If you kill that first tank, man, it's just so... It's just really interesting. He's sieging up his 2nd tank in his main base. I guess he didn't get the scout in, probably. So he doesn't know if there's like a fast river tech or something like that. So he's like, all right, I'm going to have to siege up in here. Does he have... He's got an armory, so he's going to be able to get Goliaths out here. There's the first Goliath, first 2 Goliaths on the way. So yeah, he's actually... Hiya has taken an economic lead early by getting this early command center faster than Bisu's Nexus. But now... Bisu has gotten 2 Nexuses. He's expanded twice in the meantime. And Hiya is forced to play defensively. This is the power of the scout. He's forced to play defensively and kind of, you know, siege up in the main. And there, you know, it's possible he could be going for a drop. Well, he is getting a starport. We'll see what happens with that, though. But he could be going for a quick drop. He could be going for a vulture harass or something like that. But instead, he's forced to play very, very safely and get siege tanks and Goliaths out in his base in case of an early Reaver drop, because otherwise he dies to the Reaver drop, basically. Or he doesn't die to it, but he loses too much that he will die eventually. Yeah, that's lack of scouting, very important. He does have the scanners up now, so he's able to scout if he wants to. He's actually not scanning with them right now. Again, he doesn't know what's going on, so if he scans and sees a Templar Archives and there's DTs into his base, he's going to be like, well, I know that's coming now, but now I can't do anything about it because I scanned to scout it instead of scanned to deal with it. So you want to keep those. He wants to keep those scans kind of in the bank. So if there is some DTs coming in here, he'll be able to deal with them pretty easily. But again, in the meantime, he's kind of ceded the map control to Bisu. Bisu's gotten his 3rd base up and running. 54 probes to 45 now. So the economic lead that Hiya had earlier has fallen off, and Bisu has managed to turn his mid-game economic lead into a supply lead already, almost 90 supply to 70 going on here. And we got observers out now as well. Look at this nice little pylon over here to stop. He knows this is a likely 3rd base location for Hiya, so he's like, I'm going to put pylon here just to, whoa, I'm going to have to sneeze a second. Excuse me. Unfortunately, there was no way for me to like mute my mic real quick. Not quick enough, at least. Let's see, what is he making over here? He is making a dropship. He is making a dropship. I was a little bit, okay, I was like, what's going on? Why is this science facility moving? Is he going to put an add-on on it? Nope. Just kind of moving it out of the way so he can build the command center a little bit closer, I suppose. He's going to have to deal with this pylon in order to do that command center. We did just hear a scan. Didn't quite see where it was, though, but he feels comfortable enough at this point. He's got, I think... Yeah, he's got a few scans in the bank, so he's fine with using some scans to find out what's going on. But this is also crucial because he's got this dropship out now. 4 vultures loaded up inside. He needs to find out where's a good spot for that. Oh, Bisu! Walking into some mines. These Dragoons just a little bit ahead of the observer there, and he takes some significant damage on those Dragoons. This could play a factor, actually, because, well, he's actually got a nice cannon placed here. This is the perfect spot to drop vultures, and his cannon's in range to deal with them. I believe he probably would have scanned that spot. He could run by and just drop down here with those vultures, which might be what we see. Hard to tell. But anyways, oh, we got Arbiter Tech going on here in the top left corner of the base as well. And unfortunately, it sucks that you can click on player. You can click on a player's name. Why is it not working? Usually you can click on a player's name. There we go. Now it's working. There we go. And you can see what their current vision is, but I wish you could see what their like overall vision was to see what they've seen. It just shows current vision though, so you have to do it right when they're scouting the different thing to tell what's going on. Anyway, he does have the command center finished. He's going to float it over here. He's going to take out this pylon and take a third base. But you know what? Bisu has already taken a fourth down here as well. So Bisu, again, using the economic lead. This is the story of StarCraft games, right? You use your economic lead to get a military lead. You use your military lead to gain map control. You use your map control to gain an economic lead even more. And that's exactly what Bisu's doing here. 150 to 130 supply. But the power of the Terran is they can put their SCVs under their command center and block it from landing. No, the power of the Terran is... Oh, hold on. I'll tell you about the power of Terran in a minute. We've got 4 Zealots in a shuttle here. Oh, he could do some huge Zealot bombs. Oh, that one Zealot just tanked like 8 spider mines. Wow, genius move there. The Goliaths could have prevented it, but they were a little too cowardly staying back here by the tanks. And they didn't go after that shuttle. Observer does go down here, so he's losing vision, but that was a pretty big pickup, actually. It's a lot of mines. Now, what I was going to say is the power of the Terran is that you can just chill. Even if you're behind 40 supply, you can just bunker up. Figuratively is the word I'm looking for, sorry. You can bunker up figuratively and hunker down, and off of these 3 bases, he can just max out, right? And then, you know, it doesn't matter if they have a better economy than you. Well, it does matter, but I mean, in a battle, your economy does not factor into the battle, usually. And so if he can just chill and max out, or get close to maxed, then it will actually be a little bit of a disadvantage. If Bisu has a better economy, if he's got more probes, he's got a smaller army supply. So this is the Terran's game plan when they fall behind, is just sit there, sit back, and max out, right? So Bisu's job now, though, is to say, okay, well, if you're going to do that, we do have some attempted vulture harass running around the map, by the way. It's encountering some dragoons, so not going to be able to accomplish too much there. And yeah, it looks like these vultures are not going to accomplish much at all, actually. But yeah, so Bisu said, you know, your job, if you have a lead, but you can't kill your opponent, you got to expand, right? And Bisu's expanding everywhere. Getting the bottom right base, getting the bottom right natural as well. I saw this observer on the minimap. I thought it might have been a probe. He might have been thinking about taking this middle base with a double gas. But Bisu is expanding all over the place. He's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases here pretty soon, to high as 3. And just going to start raking in the money. Now, he doesn't actually have a lot of probes. Is he actually making probes at these expansions? He's not actually making a lot of probes right now. So he's just kind of taking the map, but he's actually not... He's not over making probes. He's like, all right, I know I have the lead. I'm maxed out. Well, I mean, that's why you can't make probes, I guess, because he's maxed out. But he's not over committing to the economy, which we'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess if he's maxed, it makes sense to just stay where he is. You don't want to overbuild probes and then not have too much of an army. But at the same time, if he had like 80 probes right now, he'd be building a huge bank, a much larger bank with which to remax after the battle happens, right? Hiya looks like he might be thinking about taking a 4th base here as well, but you know, this map, which I forget the name of off the top of my head for some reason, but even though it's a very common map, has this spot where you can kind of defend here and here, and there it's kind of the defensive points are near each other as well, so it's really hard to just get broken and die off these 3 bases. The 4th base is a much, much harder base to take, right? You have to come all the way out here, control this wide area in order to be able to control this spot here. And so it's going to be very difficult for him to take that 4th base. So he's just content to just max off these 3 bases right now. Then he's going to have to be able to do some damage. And looks like he is moving out with 186 supply, more stuff in production. He's moving out here to go ahead and try and push across the map. And is he gonna go? He's trying to push forward here. He's trying to take control of this outward position. Now, is this a play to take a 4th? Or is this a play to try and start a slow push across the map towards Bisu's base? If he was gonna go for Bisu, I feel like the better route will be to move through here and then try and threaten this base while also kind of keeping control of his 3rd. that would be kind of a more advantageous spot. So I think he might actually be trying to go for a 4th base, control this area enough to take the 4th. But we'll have to see here. He is maxed out, like I said, trying to get those upgrades going. And that's the other thing is too, is that, you know, when you get the high level upgrades on, let's see what upgrades he's working on here. It actually doesn't show on the armory, so we have to click on the tank. Hold on, a big battle coming up here, possibly. The tanks are unsieged. Bisu's pushing in, taking the opportunity to push in here. Nice stasis on a pretty big clump of tanks. His Zealots were not quite close enough to take complete advantage of that unsieged spot there by Hiya, but he does do some damage and falls back. Now, look at the supplies, though. He lost about the same amount there. I think that's actually a little bit better for Hiya in this situation. But Hiya is now trying to push across the map. He says, all right, you don't actually have the Zealots to deal with this tank army right now. He is a little bit lacking in vultures as well, so this could be a little bit of a problem. But now he's pushing across, and Bisu falling back here. Bisu, you know, his rally point is much farther away, so it's going to be difficult. Now, this is a little bit dangerous. This is a little bit dangerous. Oh, no, he's getting some huge Psystorms on those tanks as well. Massive damage being done by those Templar. But is it enough, though? Bisu is just not able... He didn't have enough of a bank. He's not able to remax at all, basically. So when they're trading evenly, it looks as if Hiya's been able to max up a little bit quicker here. He isn't quite sieged up yet. But, oh, that might have been not the best spot to siege up because there's a lot of Zealots on top. But Bisu just doesn't have enough stuff here. A huge double stasis basically immobilizes most of Hiya's army right now, though. Where's the rest of his army? The rest of his army is heading towards the bottom right. That's why he's losing this battle, because his reinforcements are not even heading that direction. Planting some mines on the left here to prevent reinforcements from guarding these bottom right bases. He's just going to go ahead and leave these to die, and these units will die as soon as they unfreeze. But if he can take out a couple bases in the bottom right in the meantime, that's going to be a huge play for him. Both players, again, about even in supply at this point, and kind of an okay storm taking out some of the vultures, but it's kind of a waste as well. He might have been able to wait for these units to wake up and storm these tanks. Hiya sending some of his Goliaths and such over to defend these tanks when they wake up. Not quite gonna work. All those tanks do perish. He's taken out a Nexus here in the meantime, but this entire area up here is still up and running. He's got another set of gateways that he's gonna start pumping units out of here. So Bisu loses one base, but basically still maintains control of the bottom right and the bottom middle as well. He's only lost a handful of probes. Remember, he was at 68, now he's at 58. He can rebuild those pretty easily if he wants to. But this is the play. He's now trying to put pressure onto this bottom middle base. Bisu is trying to take the top left. He's trying to, again, have all these different spawn points with the high ground protection and planting the gateways there as well, so he's got production in different areas. Hiya did make that I saw the command center building earlier and I forgot to mention it. He did try and float it over here, but again, it's just so hard to control this top middle area. Bisu has managed to remax, by the way. He bought himself enough time with these stasises over here, and frankly sacrificing this base and this base, that he has been able to remax here. Oh, we might have a little bit of a battle coming in here. No, Bisu's going to fall back. That's a little bit wise, or very wise rather. He didn't quite have enough to deal with that. There's a lot of vultures and Goliaths that can block those vultures, the Zealots rather, from getting on top of the tanks. So smart play there. Hiya's still not able to take this 12 o'clock base. It's securely defended by like a handful of units, because again, Hiya's just trying to be around on the map in general. Oh, big storm on a lot of those vultures. It's going to clear up the defenses for these tanks. He's got several tanks here. Looks like about 15 tanks. That's a significant amount of firepower. But again, if you get 24 Zealots running on top of those tanks, they will be able to get on top of them and kill them. So you need the guarding units. You need the vultures in front to try to protect them. He can't quite get another row of mines down. He's caught a little bit unsieged here, but it's only about 8 or 9 Zealots running in the front here. A nice stasis is going to take several of these tanks out of commission, but there's still 10 left that are in firing position. Zealots are going to get on top of a few of them, but the vultures are going to clear that up, and the tanks are going to mop up all of the dragoons as well. And wow. Bisu has a tendency to kind of, he wins a lot, so I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, it's bad play, but it's interesting to note that sometimes when his Zealots are all dead, he'll still go forward with his Dragoons and still suicide Dragoons in there to get more tanks killed off. Maybe feeling like, Dragoons, if you can kill one tank per Dragoon, it's worth it, right? Anyway, Looking back at their economies, by the way, 57 even for both players in their worker counts. Now, here's the thing, though. All of those SCVs are here. Hiya's mined out here. He's mined out in his main. So Hiya is oh, he floated to the middle base. Oh, that's where all of his SCVs are. They went to the middle. This is really interesting. He's now trying to maintain control of this sort of bottom middle position. He's sending a second force up here to the top left, trying to maintain position. He's making basically like a big arc around sort of Bisu's bottom left side of the map. Now, that's not necessarily the best thing to do because Bisu does have production facilities here and to the bottom right as well. So he can kind of flank this theoretically. But it's going to mean that Bisu can also redirect all of his forces towards just one side or another. Half of Hiya's army is down to the bottom right, which means he's vulnerable up here in the top left area, and Bisu's taking full advantage of that, but the reinforcements are not too far away. Their attack moving up here unsieged, but in the meantime, the Zealot's getting on top of some of these tanks. The stasises are good. They're doing a nice job of taking out units without forming too much of a wall that stop his Zealots from actually getting on top of the unstasis units, basically. You can zoom really far out. Wow, that is really far out. Did I know that you could zoom this far out? Did they change it so you can zoom farther out than normal? This seems like really far. Anyway. Whoa, 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 too far, too far. Too close. Zoom in, enhance. Oh, that's some blue goo that we enhanced on right there. So those Dragoons getting taken out, and it looks like Hiya has managed to hold. He's got just a couple units over here on the bottom right, and some mines down here as well. So he's really kind of flimsy at that location, but you know, this is enough that it means like any units come. Is he actually making? He's not even making anything out of all of these gateways down here, actually. So Bisu, like I said, I was trying to say he had a little bit of economic advantage because he had more bases actually mining, but Hiya has evened it up. He's taken out this base, and he's taking control of this base, but no! Here comes the attack into the middle. Like I said, his defense was flimsy on the bottom. His attack in the top left has left his middle completely vulnerable. He's forced to lift, and look, the command center actually dies in mid-lifting animation. So Dragoons coming in here. A lot of vessels here. Actually has 4 vessels kind of chilling in the middle, just waiting to die essentially as Dragoon fire. He's not paying too much attention there. He could be falling back, casting some defense matrices, I suppose. But he loses the middle base. So Hiya is now just down to these 6, 7, 8 patches of minerals. And what is, some of these SCVs are confused. These are really confused SCVs. I think they're trying to return minerals from here, and they can't figure out where to go. He's finally figured out. He's gonna go ahead and return them to a different base. But he's never really got control back of this 12 o'clock base either. And if you can hear in the background, we hear some siege tank fire. This top middle base is being completely obliterated as well. Bisu has retaken 6 o'clock. He's retaking bottom right expansion as well. And he does seem to have the forces to kind of control that for the moment. Hiya's rebuilding command center. This is interesting that he's actually committing to try and take the middle. He's distance mining with those SCVs in the middle as well, which could be, you know, a good spot to run in some Dragoons and stop that from happening. But this game has gotten pretty bonkers, by the way. I mean, because you can look at the worker count, but then you actually have to look at the bases as well. And again, Hiya just mining at this base consistently. Bisu has this up and running again. This is up and running. This is up and running. And this is up and running over here for a couple more minutes. Actually, there's only 100 minutes left on there. So yeah, just a few more seconds actually for some of those patches. But still, 3 bases mining to 1 is a big deal. Now, again, this is basically a double base. I didn't realize there's actually not a lot of minerals because he's already mined out some of these minerals here. But if he can get that double base going, that will be a huge play. He can get a lot of these idle SCVs actually working. Well, I guess they're distance mining right now. But this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to take control of this middle again. If he can get that command center down, he can hold it. Now, he lost this position because he was up here attacking this. But he can now bring those forces back down. He can leave just 1 vulture, honestly, and send the rest of his units back down to the middle to defend this spot if he wants to. And he needs to put pressure back on the bottom right again, basically, if he wants to win this game. This is interesting. He's put the command center in sort of a northern position, so it's a little bit easier to defend, I guess. There's a lot more distance that they have to cover going through this choke point before they can actually get up to the command center. It's not optimal for these gas, but he's like, I guess I don't really need the gas. He still has this depleted. Yeah, he's got 1, 2, That's one still has a little bit in it. But he's got 2 depleted gas mines, so he's basically at 1.5 gas. This might be the deciding battle here, ladies and gentlemen. And Hiya looks to have a huge advantage in this situation. Bisu having to run around this corner to get in to attack there. Not the best place for him to be. Where's the rest of Bisu's army, actually? It looks like he just has a smaller army. Their supply counts are even at almost max, but Bisu just doesn't seem to have a lot of units here in the middle. I'm just like, where are there? There's a few up here. There's an Arbiter. It looks like it got EMP'd a little bit ago. Yeah, the energy and the shields are almost even, so he got EMP'd there. So you can't do a recall up there, but I'm like, where is his... Okay, what has happened there? Did he use defense matrix something? I missed it. Anyway, let's see. Arbiters, 75 energy, 73 energy. So these guys are still waiting to get enough energy. And here we go. Hiya pushing down to the bottom right. Now again, Bisu could try and counterattack to the top middle, or to the middle of the map. Take this base out. It's relatively undefended. I think Hiya senses that. He used all of his army to kind of get his foot in the door, and now once his foot is in the door, he's able to barge his way in and do some damage, and Bisu's forced to run some probes away here as well, and then falling back his army to the middle so he can maybe make sure that he can control the middle, because if Bisu counterattacked here and took this out, Hiya would be basically not mining, whereas Bisu would have still bottom, middle, and bottom right as well. So basically, yeah, Bisu needs to take out this base, and Hiya needs to be, I think he's wary of that, so he's not committing his entire force to the bottom right. Nice stasis is here in the bottom right, taking out several tanks. 6 tanks down for those Arbiters. He's pushing in here, but Bisu just doesn't quite seem to have enough army to push all the way in. Can he get some nice storms off down here in the bottom right? What are these units doing, actually? They're kind of just rallied out in the wrong spot. They're going to die to tank fire as a result. This one DT is going to get a couple tank kills, perhaps, but not quite be able to do enough damage. Several tanks surviving here, ladies and gentlemen. And is he? I guess he's not aware of that tank. Those are just mines. There's still a couple tanks up here. But yeah, Bisu just basically lost his whole army. Where is his army? He's got 150 supply, but where is it? Only 50 probes. He should have 100 army supply. I don't know where it is. He's got some Arbiters around. Those are actually a significant amount of supply. He's got maybe 20 supply tied up around the map in random places. The rest of his army is just here. And I guess the rest of it is in production. And a few Dragoons and stuff stuck back. Oh, look at this. He's actually got... So he actually has... He has 6 Arbiters. 7 Arbiters right now. Chilling around the map. Not necessarily doing anything. You know, if they're out of energy, they're just useless, essentially. And right now, they're either back at home... I don't know if he realizes that these Arbiters are here. This could be a huge mistake that one of his Stargates is not rallied. And he's not using these Arbiters right now. They actually have full stasis worth of energy or recall. Sorry, I'm missing a little bit of a battle here going on. Hiya trying to push into the 6 o'clock position. This is Bisu's Achilles heel as well as this bottom middle area. Whereas Hiya's, you know, vulnerable spot is here in the middle. Those minerals are starting to mine out pretty quickly, actually. But he takes out the Nexus in the bottom middle. That's pretty huge. And Hiya still never... He could easily have sent a handful of units up here to clear this out. And he could be mining from there, but he's basically just abandoned it. Bisu's not trying to retake the top left bases either right now. Observer running here, kind of seeing what's going on. There's a significant amount of tanks there. Bisu, what are you doing with those Arbiters? Did he get those Arbiters? Okay, you got those Arbiters in play. I mean, he's using them for stasises, but the stasises, they don't kill units, you know? They just temporarily take them out of position, or out of play. He now has 8 Arbiters on the map. And again, Arbiters are really powerful. They can do really strong stuff like recalling, which he has not done a single time, by the way. I don't think he's done a single recall into the main or the third. This is all mined out now, so it doesn't really matter anyways. But no recalls happening on the map. He's only been using his Arbiters for stasises, which is not a bad thing. But, you know, I would love to see a recall in the main, in the middle here or something like that. Could do a significant amount of damage. This is now Hiya's only mining on the map, basically, is this spot. He's not even taking the gases. He's got enough gas in the bank at the moment. He doesn't need to worry about it too much. And again, pushing in, taking out these bottom right expansions. Bisu has taken bases like 12 times this game. This one he's taken 3 times, I think. Maybe 2 or 3 times. This one he's taken 3 times. He's taken this once, and he's lost all of them, you know, because he keeps losing them in between. So, oh, actually, I'm sorry, I missed it here. A little bit of an attack going in. He did go in to try and attack into the middle of the map, but too well defended. This is just a really tight spot. With the minerals are blockade, the buildings are a blockade. He's got his tanks in tiers as well. T-I-E-R-S, not that they're crying because they didn't get enough kills. You know, it's just such a hard spot to break, and there's obviously these big walls. So it's actually, like, it's vulnerable because it's in the middle, but right now, this is the only spot that Hiya needs to worry about. It doesn't really matter if he gets attacked anywhere else, because he can lose some infrastructure maybe, but all of his mining is in the middle map. So he can actually just kind of hole up in this, it's almost like this entire base is like a little bunker, right? With the walls around the outside. Bisu kind of trying to clear up the top left. He might be thinking about moving in here to expand in the top left again. Which, you know, he's kind of, this is locked down here right now. I mean, I don't know where Bisu gets his next base. Where does his next meal come from? He doesn't know. And these minerals are starting to mine out. A few hundred left, 200 left on some of these. 100 minerals left on this patch. So he's going to mine out that bottom right base in a matter of minutes. And we're talking minutes that you can count on one hand. And so Bisu needs another base. He's trying to take control of this top left area. Hiya is on top of it, though. That is the worst storm. Well, not the worst storm. I guess it did kill one tank, but that was really bad considering he could have hit 3 or 4 tanks or a bunch of other stuff with that storm theoretically. Bisu kind of building up here on the top left rather. Sorry. And look, Hiya did try and take that base. It looks like, did a recall happen over here or something like that to recall those units up there? Either way, he's going to deny that again. So well done by Bisu stopping that from happening. So again, Hiya is now starting to mine out this middle area. He's going to be out of money here in a minute. So we're getting to a situation where basically neither player is going to be mining in 2 minutes. I don't think Bisu can hold this top left base. He's trying to get the Nexus up here, but it's going to be so difficult for him to hold that. Unless he actually can recall these units into this area maybe to defend it. I think that's Bisu's his only chance in this game is to defend this top left position. He's invested too much into this spot. He's got the Nexus going. It's almost finished warping rather. He's got a bunch of units up here that are going to die one way or another. If he can somehow get a double recall on top of this area, he stasis some Goliaths to protect the Arbiters. Well, the Arbiters pick away at these tanks. They're going to take approximately 1.7 million years to kill the tanks, and he forced to cancel the Nexus. So that was, I think, Bisu's chance. Bisu, I saw this clump here, and I was like, did he try to put a Nexus to the top middle? No, he didn't. So he actually is going to lose control of this area. Well, now he can maybe recall these units out in order to take control of this area and take a base down here or something like that. But he needs another base. This is going to mine out in moments. It's already halfway mined out. Hiya's going to mine out in a few minutes as well, though. He's a little bit longer before he does. But Hiya has a little bit more supply and a little bit more money left that he can collect. I feel like Bisu is... Well, no, they're actually about even in army supply as well, actually. Again, Arbiters, when they're not casting spells, are useless. So I think they did maybe kill off one tank. Let's see if any of these have a kill on them. Oh no, flying into the Goliath! Did they stasis earlier? No kills on these Arbiters. And look at this, like a handful of Goliaths just basically killing them off. They need support units with them. It almost would have been worth it for them to just use that to recall some units onto those Goliaths and kill them off or something like that. Okay, well, I guess he is going to send these... When you're desperate, ladies and gentlemen. Bisu is so desperate, he is sending his army of Arbiters. His arbitrary... I don't know how to combine those words properly. Oh, and this clump of forces in the top that was defending this position... I don't know if this was the best move to just leave these here to die and defend this for another few seconds, because now that was like half of his army. The Arbiters did manage to kind of clear out those tanks and the spider mines as well. So he's trying to take this position again. But, so, all right, you did something, Arbiters. 1 kill on that Arbiter. 1 kill on that Arbiter. Nice. Couple kills there. Very good job. But, be better if there were scouts. Obviously, of course, they can get enough energy to do stasises, and that can be a good thing here. It's always funny to see a stasis on a single vessel because basically it's self-preservation. Oh, he's going in for a recall here. There's another vessel here. Doesn't have the energy for an EMP though. He's gonna try and go ahead and recall in this position. This is now the crucial spot for Hiya. He's going in with a double recall. All of Bisu's army invested here. His entire left army pops instantly from the siege tank fire. The secondary army desperately trying here. He's gonna try and focus down the economy because he knows these units are gonna die. Stasis did not quite hit the ramp, so Hiya is able to get his units up the ramp to deal with this situation. The command center is gonna be saved. Bisu is now mined out. He's now mined out entirely. He's not able to get this base back up again. He's not, yeah, this base, I mean, he has a nexus that's about to finish there, but where are the probes, bro? Show me the probes. He doesn't have any probes, so he can't really do it. I mean, these are the probes down here. You might, but you can't get them out. He could actually, you know what he should do? He should actually recall the probes up to the bottom left, or the top left, so he can actually mine there. You go arbiters. Now all he has is these 3 arbiters. He's got no units. He's got no money to make units. He's got 70 supply. 30 of those are probes, and 20 of them are arbiters. So, you know, now he's got 60 supply. Oops. Anyway, that's going to be GG here in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Hiya is maintaining control of this base. Wants a couple Goliaths get in there. Sorry, I was trying to... I'm used to... on Age of Empires, if you hit Control A, you can actually select all units. So I was going to see if I could select all of Bisu's units, and I accidentally hit A, which removes all interface. And when I brought it back, you guys probably saw the replay there for a minute, but it doesn't really matter because the game was pretty much sealed. The deal was sealed as well, and Hiya actually takes the game. Bisu got out to a very early lead. And it, you know, again, it's kind of funny that it all went back down to denying that scout. I didn't see it happen, but the SCV was not able to get in there, and so Hiya had to play really defensively earlier on, and Bisu got a huge economic lead early on. But Hiya just said, you know what? I don't care. I've got 3 bases. You can't break these 3 bases. It's too hard to break up this ramp. Too hard to break across this bridge. And so I'm just going to max out. And then he pushed out, and it was just like... you know, he was basically like, his army was Chun-Li doing the multi-kick thing, you know? He'd attack down here in the bottom right, he'd attack in the middle, he'd attack top left, he'd attack bottom right again, and it's just back and forth all around the map, attacking different locations, and managing not to lose everything to a counterattack at the same time. Very interesting play, just committing to the middle and abandoning the top middle for most of the game. Ended up making him a little bit mobile because he had this was his base of operations, right? And he kind of dodged down to the bottom right and take out this expansion, and he wasn't too far away. Imagine if he's attacking the bottom right and his expansion is up here. He can't defend that very easily, but with the expansion in the middle, he can actually defend it pretty easily. Going back here, he could attack top left and then get back to the middle fairly easily. So it was actually a kind of a master stroke. He never even took the gases in the middle. It was just all the minerals there. And with both of them mining out all in the expansions around the side of the map, that ended up being a pretty good play. So, woo! What a bit of a long game there, but I hope you guys enjoy that, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye to all of you. I hope you are doing well, and thanks for watching. GG.